What's up, guys? I hope this is gonna work out. I got a lot of things going on in the background. I hope that you can you can see a new angle, and I hope everything is working. I tested it out earlier this morning or this afternoon when I got back from out of town, and I'm just thankful you're here. Thanks for hanging out with me on a Sunday night on the Sunday night draw stream. Who is tonight's mystery character? I can't wait to show it to you. Of course, we got to go through some teasing. I do want to promote some stuff, but if this is your first time, I thank you for showing up and hanging out with me for this next hour, and I would hope that I would earn your subscription. So if you haven't, I'll ask you later to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. I'll say it a couple times because it improves the algorithms and it gets people over. It helps people find the channel. So I appreciate you being here, and I hope that somebody comes and hangs out with me. So far, so good. I've done 20 couple of these, maybe not 20 couple, but a lot of these videos, and somebody shows up, and I appreciate it. If it's you, if you show up later, that's fine too. I hope one of these days you can join me live and we can chat. You can hit that write something fun in the chat, and we can promote your work. We can do whatever. So I appreciate you being here, and we're just gonna go over some promotional stuff if you don't mind. I'm gonna take you to the drawing board where I'm gonna remind people that Alpha Red number 5 is available this week on Starcross Comics. So if you head over to alpharedcomic.com, you will be able to pre-order the number 5 issue, and that is the conclusion to Alpha Red's story, his origin story. So that is available this week. So it will be shipping out this week. So we got the printed copies in. We have the pre-orders that have come in before. They are ready to hit the United States Postal Service here this coming week. So don't miss out on getting issue number 5 for the first time through Starcross Comics. All right, so that's my promo for Alpha Red issue number 5. You can also go to jamesq.net to sign up for my email list. So you'll click on jamesq.net, and it takes you to my Patreon page where you can just hit join for free and ask you for your email address, it'll ask you for your name, and then you make up a password. Just make it Alpha Red, whatever. It's not super picky, and then we're off and running. And I will give you previews of what I'm up to with Alpha Red and other things. Like because you're here, I'm going to show you some previews of Alpha Red number 6. All right, I have an echo. I'm being told from the other room, and I'll probably be told that that's going on too. Let me see if I can get rid of an echo, if there's an echo. Let's take that down. I'm going to take that down, and hopefully that eliminates the echo. So I appreciate the help from the other room. And your ringer's still on. Thank you. I knew I was going to get a message about that. So if you could tell me, my helper from the other room, my wonderful helper from the other room, if the echo went away. So that would be most helpful. So when you join me on this live stream, I typically give you a sneak peek into Alpha Red number 6, and I'm so proud of these pages. So I'm just going to kind of fly through them. I do them in a well, thank you. That sounds great. I got the good word, no echo. Thank you for the technical help from the other room. I appreciate that. And so you'll notice that this is a smaller size than what you would, if you know anything about comic books. They are, well, let me get you, let's do this. So if you know anything about creating comic books and the size of artwork that is typically used for comic book drawing, you're usually looking at a, let's get rid of that. What's going on here? Let's turn this off. Yeah, there we go. And let me click over here. All right. So this drawing area would typically be a 10 by 15 drawing area on an 11 by 17 piece of Bristol board. But I am using a, what is it, a 9 by 12? I'm using a 9 by 12 Bristol board, and I scaled the things down, and it really has helped me to speed up the process. So I can get about a page done per week, and that's about roughly still about 12 hours per page. But I don't know, there's something faster about these pages. And so this is the size that the entire comic will be for issue number 6, and I wish that I could show you the colored version of this. Andrew Kramer is coming back to color the 6th issue of Alpha Red, and he's doing a bang-up job. So Andrew, I am looking forward to more pages coming in, but I'm just going to fly through these pages real quick. So obviously this is page 2. I'm not going to go into it too much because I do want you to pick up the book eventually. Page 3, what's going on here? Uh-oh, who is this bad guy? What is his deal? And then we jump scenes. We jump back to the present. That was actually a flashback of things that were going on while issue number 5 was in the works. That scene, that previous scene. But then you get to the current scene. The heroes are coming back from saving the day in issue number 5. They kind of get brought up to speed with some of this stuff here. And then issue number 7 is the newest completed page. And I do go in afterward and do some photoshopping. So I've added some things into here using Photoshop, and I've added something into here, just more of the background here, because once I added the, I don't want to give away too much. You'll see it when you pick up the book. You notice that? But when I put it in, you'll see what I put in here, and it's just more. So this looked really empty, so I just grabbed something from another page and put it in here, and it's just more cool techno background type stuff. So, and then this here is the layouts for page 8. It's a continuation of issue number 4, what happens to to the bad guy when he comes into the prison and what transpires. I don't want to get into it too much, but this is how the bad guy, this is the origin of this particular bad guy. Oh man, you're not supposed to see this. Okay, well, I gave it away. This is our mystery character for this draw stream, and I am happy to have been commissioned to do this. And it's not a character that I've ever drawn before. I'm not a huge Godzilla fan until today, because I felt like I needed to really enjoy doing this commission. And so I heard such great things about Godzilla -1, and I had not. Oops, I should have done this before, but it looks like it's slipping. So I heard so many good things about Godzilla -1, and I wanted to watch it before I did this today. And but it was a busy weekend. I was out of town for the weekend at my niece's graduation party, and so that was in New Jersey, and it was really hot. I don't know where you guys are at, and I don't know if this heat wave thing hit you guys, but we were celebrating in an old barn, and outside we were under a tent thing to keep us out of the sun, but man, it did not feel like it saved us from much of the heat, because it was humid too. So, but I'm excited now that I just finished watching Godzilla -1, and what you see is I'm playing it over here in the right there. So I got my little projector thing hooked up, and that streaming thing that I just watched is going to be kind of playing in the corner there. So if you don't want spoilers, just let me know. All right. Hey, love. Good to see you. Let me know if the echo is still around. If you could give me that. That I thought my wife helped me out with that. She let me know that there was no more echo. But if you can confirm that, I'd appreciate that. So she did say, let me see, talk louder if you can. No echo. Okay. So I will try to talk louder. I will do my very best. Sometimes when I feel like I'm all by myself, I feel like I talk lower. So, but I just did get done watching Godzilla -1, and man, it's probably one of the best movies I've seen this year. Not that I watch a whole lot of movies, so I'm not saying that I watch a gazillion movies, and Godzilla -1 is like this crazy awesome thing out of many movies that I watch. It just happened to be that I don't watch many movies, and because of this commission, I felt like I owed it to Godzilla to watch his latest on-screen incarnation, and I was not disappointed in the least. And we did the subtitled version, and I'm not a fast reader. That's why I like comics. I'm not a huge fan of reading. So I was a little apprehensive about sticking with the subtitled version. I was very tempted to do the dubbed version, but everybody said that it's not a whole lot of reading, and I am happy to report that I was able to get through the reading without missing much. Every now and again, I've watched it with my boys, so without we joked around a little bit, so there was a little bit of missing some of the reading, just because some of it was praising the movie, And some of it was just kind of, as we do, we mocked it a little bit, just because, not that there's anything wrong with different cultures or whatever, but some things didn't translate culturally very well, and the acting looked a little cheesy, but I chalked it up to different kind of cultural things, or maybe they were going for a period piece kind of thing. So that is why that's some of the things that we were making fun of. So no hate. We all, when it was done, very happy with all how things turned out. Some of it was a little predictable towards the end, but I gotta say, it didn't bother me one bit that some of it happened, and it just felt really good that it was a kind of it was a smart movie. It didn't take itself too seriously, but it still didn't treat the audience like we were dumb. So I was very, very pleased. So I don't know if you guys like drawing monsters. I'm not a huge fan of monsters, so this is not something that I probably would choose on my own to draw as as an exercise. But Godzilla has gotten a lot of love here. I even pulled up some facts. I was going to tease you. I didn't realize that Godzilla was 70 years old. Did you know that? So, it came out in 1954. Yeah, I was just going to read through the Wikipedia and not do like the name or too much of the details that would give it away. But stupid me, I ran out of teasing, and you got the reveal. I apologize for not being able to hold it, to get it all the way there, to surprise you. I thought it was a good surprise that nobody would guess it, because this honestly is not something that I typically gravitate towards in my normal fandom, in my geeky fandom. Even though I do remember growing up watching Godzilla movies, it was just not like, I know that there's just this ravenous fan base for it. Obviously, he's been around for 70 years, and there's it feels like a movie every year, or if not every year, every other year or something. A Godzilla movie, Godzilla, King Kong, something or other. Sometimes he's the good guy, sometimes he's the bad guy. I remember in the 90s, there's a Matthew Broderick one, like crazy stuff. What's going on there, Raph? Good to see you made it on the Eastern time this week. Good to see you, bro. So I'm excited to read Atreidian Justice. I know that you put on the message board that you had it re-lettered and stuff. So I am excited to give Atreidian Justice #1 a read. So yeah, this is a commission. I do have room for one more commission, if I can throw that out there, before the end of this week. I am going to be at the Hershey Comic Con this Saturday and Sunday. That would be the 29th and 30th. That's June 29th and 30th in it's in Grantville, Pennsylvania. So that's right outside of Hershey. It's actually the area that I grew up in. So I'm looking forward to reconnecting with some friends. So if you are in the central Pennsylvania area, I would love to meet you. And if you've never picked up an issue of Alpha Red, this is the easiest way to pick one up. No shipping charges and all that stuff. So if you've seen me on here and you want to save on shipping, just show up at the Hershey Comic Con and you will not be disappointed. There are all kinds of great artists, great creators, writers. Jim Shooter's going to be there. I've never met Jim Shooter, and honestly, I don't have any great like stories about Jim Shooter or a favorite comic that he wrote. I just know him from being an editor at Marvel. That many people, they give him a lot of credit for the stories that were written under his watch. And so, no, I appreciate you getting that commission from me, Raph. It was a lot more fun. I typically don't like to do too many characters that I'm not super familiar with. And but no, I always have fun because I like drawing, and it turned out to be a really fun character to draw. So I can't wait for people to pick up Atreidian Justice and learn more about all the Atreidian Justice things. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but I look forward to seeing more Atreidian Justice stuff out there. And so, as I was drawing, like trying to come up with this commission, because you notice that I've already kind of penciled it, and if you're joining me for the first time, I don't typically do the composition on camera because there's a little bit that goes into it, and this is probably the fourth or fifth incarnation of the pose. I had a couple of different poses, and obviously if you've ever followed the different incarnations of Godzilla, there are many details, I would say, not details, but different artists' versions of him based on which movies, the original versions, the original movies, the original Japanese stuff, or the more Hollywood stuff. They all have a slightly different look, and I never thought it did, but as I was exploring, I noticed that some would have longer snouts, some didn't have the eyebrows, some would be, there are variations, and the person who commissioned this did not give me a favorite version, so I'm kind of going on mostly the -1, the Godzilla -1 that I just watched, that I had heard so many great things about. So I was trying to keep it as close to that as possible, but I only just watched it right before I started the live stream. So this was more influenced by pictures that I found online, and I combined it with a bunch of other iterations of him. So, but yeah, this is part of the reason probably why I never really did a picture of Godzilla on my own, was all these darn bumps. He's a monster, so like I like my superheroes like super masculine, super feminine, and like a monster, just like I'm like what does a monster is so like kind of made up, and so there's no underlying anatomy that is universally accepted with a Godzilla or a monster or whatever. There are certain characteristics that a fan of Godzilla would recognize, and I didn't feel like I would necessarily hit all those markers to make him as recognizable. But here it is. I had a lot of fun. I did. I cannot lie. I had a lot of fun, and I cannot lie. So it really was just trying to find like what things make him Godzilla, and what can I do to make it look cool and dynamic. I like when our heroes like come at you. If you watch any of my, or if you've seen any of my artwork, like the dynamicism I try to infuse into my artwork is like there's a body part that comes towards you, and that was hard to do, honestly, with this, with a character like a monster. So the other things that you can do are you can use dramatic lighting, which I typically don't do for these commissions, just because it just takes a lot more thought than what I typically charge for a commission. That's more something that I would do for a favorite project or something for Alpha Red. So when I go to do commissions, I try to stick with, if body parts aren't coming at you, then it's the twisting of the body parts, like the juxtaposition of the top of the body and the bottom parts, just like going kind of wonky opposite ways. So when I'm thinking about poses for someone like Godzilla, it was a challenge, honestly. Like I said, this was probably the third or fourth iteration. Two of them were very similar. That's why I can't decide if I count them all as iterations or not, different poses. But yeah, they looked kind of stagnant. You want to give the character mass. You want to make sure he looks as big as he does on screen, because like what I picture when I think of Godzilla is he's standing next to like buildings, and the buildings are like this big, like the tops of buildings are like this big. He's like, his head and shoulders are above the buildings. So I had to keep that in mind as I'm coming up with this pose. And so any new ones? Love the 80s Godzilla version, but these new ones are the best. There is something awesome when they can computer animate these things. Our imaginations, sometimes it's better for our imaginations, like if you're trying to make something mysterious. I know that people, when they read fantasy stories and stuff, and they read fiction, they a lot of times say that their imagination makes for better costuming, better pictures, illustrations in their minds. But then, when it comes to these monsters, where they're showing them, especially in the water, and just with Godzilla, definitely the CGI helps. Ever since Jurassic Park came around, like these dinosaur type monsters with all their scales and their bumps and their whatever, I don't know that you can do that with puppets and stuff. It would just look as cheesy as it did way back in 1954 when they were wearing rubber suits and things. And it's neat though, because it does look like they're trying to respect the original design, where I like how the fins in the back, like they still kind of wiggled around, even in this latest Godzilla -1 version. He was the fins kind of moved around, so I was it doesn't have to move around. You can imagine that they're his bones and they're sticking out of his spine, so they don't need to wave around. But I think with the rubber suits way back when, you couldn't help that the fins that were sticking out were not really attached to the human that was inside. So, but it was neat, those throwbacks, even in the designs that they do with the CGI, that they respect some of the movements that we are used to seeing from Godzilla. So I'm very happy with that. So Raph is so you have a Trade Justice #2, right, coming out. That's what the Kickstarter was for. And then I thought I heard that you were doing a one-shot of a Trade Justice. So is that going to be kickstarted? When can we expect that to be kickstarted? That would be pretty cool. You know, because with independent comics, it sometimes takes a long time for us to get the next issue out, because we don't have the money or the support to get the next issue going. So, I mean, I'm on issue #6, but the first 5 issues took me 10 years. Just because real life happens and I'm the artist and the writer. So with issue #6, I picked up a writer. Yes, sir. Issue #2 on Kickstarter and the one shot hopefully by October or November. Awesome. But yeah, when you have a full-time job, you know, and you're doing this because of the love of the craft, the inspiration of the people who came before you, you know, you just want to be a part of it. You feel like you want to be a part of it. And so you can't stop, but getting random texts from the other room, but they're not live stream related, so just a distraction. But yeah, so as I was trying to do some research here for Godzilla and his pose and his design, and I was finding all the different iterations of him. It was kind of cool, but it was kind of intimidating. How do I make all these bumps and stuff? Because, I mean, with the CGI, they can create the bumps, and the bumps will stay bumps, like, throughout the thing. But if you understand, like, how organic things are, I don't want to say design, you know, God designs them in a way, and the reason things look more realistic is because they are either symmetrical, you know, 2 arms, 2 legs, you know, like the tail, we know, you know, like the 1 torso, 1 head, you know, things like that kind of tie us to things that are a little bit more organic. Not that there aren't exceptions, obviously there are some exceptions, but as a rule, you have certain things that kind of give you the markers for organic life. And to make a cool monster, you can't just forego all of things that we think of as organic. So as long as you have a certain pattern, like I was finding that there's a certain pattern, a certain curvature, and even the thing down underneath his chin here, as I was looking at the Godzilla -1 design, it still looks like a person could put the head on as a costume. So I think that's a throwback to the original design, and it's just kind of a thing that I think most people would subconsciously recognize as part of the look of Godzilla. And if you ignored that, I think you would lose some of his look. So I was glad to see that as part of the design that I noticed with my research. It's tough in the indie world. I have a lot of respect for you and all the other creators who have succeeded with your hard work. I appreciate that, Raph. I do, and it is the more you do it, the more you understand how hard it is to have the tenacity to stick with your project, carry out that idea, and then the more like the steps that you begin to discover that you have to do to make this thing work and be successful. And success is defined by each individual creator, but to continue it, you have to feel like you've accomplished enough to continue forward. Because it's easy to give up when you don't sell 1 million books right away, and you don't know who's going to sell 1 million books. You're not going to be the Ninja Turtles right out the gate. I think a lot of people have that assumption, and for every Ninja Turtles that's out there, there's 10,000 indie comics that did not get anywhere, nothing close to Ninja Turtles. And so, yes, I appreciate that you are among the many, the few. Sorry, you are among the few who are learning and getting and continuing after issue number 1. I don't know how successful Atreidian Justice number 1 was, but I know Alpha Red number 1 was not immediately well received. It has, over the years, become more and more well received as I complete the new issues of it. So I am thankful that people are open to an indie book. It's not always easy to convince people to part with their hard-earned money and give them something of value. So I was, and you don't know. I don't know that Alpha Red is universally an entertaining concept. I happen to like it because I spend so much time with the character in my head. I'm like, who wouldn't like this guy? This friendly neighborhood handyman who gets chosen for a governmental or large organizations experiment, and he finds himself with super strength and super speed, and he's tasked with saving the world from a global threat by Satan, no less. Like, say what? That usually stops people in their tracks when I'm at a convention, and I throw that out there. Somebody, the people who are willing to give me the time and listen to the elevator pitch, and I give them Alpha Red is Peter Parker as Captain America on a James Bond adventure. That's one of the hooks that I found as I was researching independent comics and one of the channels that I listened to. I wish I was smart enough to remember people's channels and stuff where I discovered this stuff. Like, I know that he's out there because I run into his stuff a lot. He has an independent comic called Munch, and his pitch is something about fried chicken. I forget what the pitch was, but it's something about fried chicken, but it's about aliens, and these aliens want to eat us, like we are their Kentucky Fried Chicken. And whatever the strategy that he had was, he's like, that's how you hook them, and once you get them with that hook, then you can explain a little bit more to them how yours is different from that hook. Like, it's similar to that, and if they like the hook, then they'll stick around for a little bit more of a explanation of your comic. But it took me a little while to get that hook. Like, I had to boil it down to try to figure out what are some characteristics about Alpha Red's story that people could identify with in other characters. And so I just went back to who influenced who influenced Alpha-Red in the beginning. And, Alpha-Red is just a combination of all the characters that I like. Not all of them, but like characteristics of characters that I like. And that's what I put into Alpha-Red. And I'm hoping that people enjoy it, that it's a little bit different than those influences, but not too different where I'm just trying to be different for the sake of being different, and you forget about story and what makes a good comic and all that stuff, because you're trying to add in something that makes them different. Not always necessary. Like, comics are escapism, and I think people appreciate that. They're entertained for the 15-20 minutes that they sit down and read your comic, and they can immerse themselves in the world that you're creating. And if you do it well, they'll come back, and I appreciate that. All right. Just didn't want to miss anybody. So, I don't know if Luck is still here, but I'd love to hear how your brushes are working out, your brush markers that your daughter, I think you said your daughter got it for you. I'd love to hear what brand they were, and if you thought that they were worthy of endorsement. Because I think as creators and artists, we're always looking for the best tools to kind of help our vision come to life. And some people make it look so easy when they're drawing, and you're like, is it because they're using that particular tool? So you give it a try. You just give it a try. So, if you have seen Godzilla -1, if you could give me your thoughts, I would love to hear what you thought of Godzilla -1. I just watched it, so if you're just joining me and you didn't hear that, like when I say I just watched it, like 5 minutes before I walked up to turn on the live stream, I was watching the ending of Godzilla -1. So that is how fresh Godzilla -1 is on my mind. And I gotta tell you, it was definitely a feel-good kind of ending, and I really appreciate those kinds of movies, because I don't need people telling me that, there's not always happy endings to the movie. Like, I understand. Real life, not always happy endings. But I'm not watching fiction because I want to see something that resembles real life. It needs to be relatable, but I kind of like it when my stories have happy endings. Call me old-fashioned, but stories should be inspirational, and characters, heroes should go through a journey, and the hero goes through a journey, just all that classical stuff that they don't seem to want to do in Hollywood anymore. And I'm so glad that the Japanese aren't afraid to just tell a really good story. And I know some iterations of Godzilla movies kind of they like make him out to be the good guy. He's like the best of the monsters, or he comes, he's only here to defend against the monsters, or he's just misunderstood, or just scared of him, or whatever. But sometimes a monster's just a monster. It can be Godzilla can be named after the main bad guy. Let me see what you're saying here, Raph. -1 was great. I love the way he grew the more they shot him. The story was really good. I agree. I didn't know, I was like, how are they going to defeat him? Because every time they came in contact with him, he got stronger and bigger. And I was like, boy, what in the world? How are they going to get themselves out of this mess, this pickle that they're in? This giant monster that keeps growing, that was born out of experiments that the United States did. Atomic testing in the Pacific. That's crazy. That's awesome. And I just didn't know how they were going to resolve it. And I really need to do more watching of fiction, because I do want to put my character through bigger, have bigger stakes, and I'm going to need ideas for them to get out of harm's way. So I'm going to probably start watching a little bit more of fiction to just kind of get the juices flowing, because I know that not all recent movies are worth the time, but there are a lot of older movies that have some great storylines that can inspire me to add elements of those things, whether they be the actual bad thing, that the catastrophe that my hero has to face. I do have some ideas already for more Alpha Red in the future, but right now it's kind of like I don't put him through a lot of stuff because I can't get him out of a lot of stuff. So if I had some ideas on how to possibly get him out of some trouble, I can create some trouble for him to get out of. So I think this is pretty much done as far as I want to go right now, just because I want to erase the pencil from here, and then I will go in with the gray markers. The commissions that I do for convention are these black and white things, and then with gray marker. And Raph, I know that you just asked for a color version of A Trade Injustice, and all of it is digital. So I was able to actually do a little bit more with it than I can typically for these hand-drawn commissions. But for what I charge, what the customer gets is a black and white drawing like this with gray markers, and that adds a little bit more texture, but it doesn't actually doesn't have color, and I can't do some of the effects that I was able to do on the Trade Injustice commission that I did for you. So this is my style of inking here. I don't know if when you're anybody watching, everybody has a different way of creating the final result. And so I like to go in and do what I did with the single tone, the single width or whatever. I was using a number 3 because this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper on Bristol board. but then I go back and I will use a thicker I don't know, point. So this is an 08, and just to kind of, when you put a dark line underneath, you kind of start showing the eye automatically is able to distinguish like where the light is coming from. Like, so the light is coming from the big blast right here. So all the dark lines will come from over here. And really, it should cast a shadow. His leg, will cast a shadow over here. But I won't create that with the ink. I'll create that with the grayscale when I come in. And then, so I'm inking like the bottoms of this. And so that will separate itself just ever so subtly from the other lines that I don't. And so that is a little bit of the secret sauce when it comes to drawing. If you're a new artist and you're just wondering how to level up, or what an artist is thinking when he's going through some of these pictures, this is it. This is some of it. But I will noodle with this probably a little bit more and get some of these lines just kind of darkened in, and get the pencils erased, and then I will go in and do the gray tones, and that should really make this pop. And I'll post it. If you're not on my email list yet, please go to jamesq.net. That's James, the letter Q.net, and sign up for my email to be on my email list. It'll ask you for your email address, obviously. It'll ask you for your name, and then it'll ask you to create a quick password. You can make it alphabet. That's what I did as my dummy account, so that I know what goes to you when I send it out. If it goes to you, I have a dummy email that I signed up for my own email list. But great job, man. Thank you, Raph. Thank you. I appreciate the kind words and encouragement. Bro, I do appreciate your encouragement. I just need that sometimes to kind of remind me that people are looking, and my artwork has an effect on people, to inspire them, just like I was inspired by people. Like, you gotta pay it forward. God's given me a gift. And I really feel like part of me sharing this gift is to inspire other people to create their own comic, and especially for Christian creators, that we can make cool stuff too. I know we don't always get the we don't have a great reputation for creating quality stuff. Christian movies are kind of cringe, but they're coming out with better and better ones. So I know that better creators are coming up. Christian creators who are creating good quality faith-based content, and I know that you've got some faith-based elements in yours. So I am looking forward to reading that relettered version of the Trading Justice. All right, I'm gonna call this quits here. And if you have not subscribed yet to the channel, I would really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing and sharing it, you know, when I get on to do these things, I think people in general are enjoying watching the process. And so this is also, so my channel is all about kind of helping creators with some of the advice that I've heard and that I am applying. So part of the advice that I've gotten from other independent creators is to kind of use social media to stay in the consciousness of people, to bring them value and inspire them, and they will continue to support you. And so far so good, honestly. And it's not easy, because you have to figure out what you have time to do. And I do not have time to do all the things that, all the advice, to take all the advice that has been given to me and apply it. That would be a full-time job, and I just don't, it wouldn't be fair to my actual full-time job if I spent the time to take all the advice. But a part of why I do this YouTube draw stream every week is not only because I love to draw and I use it as an excuse to draw and to draw things that I don't typically always want to draw, but as I do commissions, as I take on commissions, it's fun to share that journey with you, share the process with you, and part of the journey of finding fans and bringing value to people is to consistently be putting out something online for people to be able to just kind of think about you, and hopefully think about you in a positive way. And it really also kind of gives you practice on a lot of things, like, I don't know, how to refine the introduction to my pitch. So this is it for right now, guys. Other things other commissions that I'm working on, you know, boom. Another commission is this character. You know this character. Hopefully you know this character. Hopefully I've got enough markers in here that you know who this is. If you know who it is, scream that. Put it in the chat. But that's something that I'm working on. What else am I working on here? Am I working on anything fun? So I don't know if you guys caught the spawn that I did last week. That's what I finished up. Yeah, there's a Scarlet somewhere around here. I picked up the Scarlet comic from Energon last week. I think the Destro came out this week, and I didn't get to it. But I bought the sketch cover, and I'm doing the sketch cover for that. And so that is what I am kind of doing on the side just for fun. I didn't love the Scarlet comic, just because I didn't think it was a good representation of the character as I remembered her in the cartoon. But yeah. So if you haven't already, I would appreciate it if you smash that like button. And if you haven't done that, haven't subscribed, please do that. And I just want to thank you for sharing this hour with me. And I hope it was entertaining for you. And I will see you next week. Grace and peace. God bless you. I'm going to hit the outro. See you.